Today, we're going to delve into the essence of a dilemma that many modern men face: the woman with a past, the single mother. Not to judge, but to shed light, like the sun clearing the morning mist, revealing the terrain below. So if you've entered or are about to enter this terrain, keep listening to what I have to say. What torments you, I see, is the question of responsibility and discernment. How do you know if she is that rare flower that, despite a past storm, seeks a garden to contribute to, or if she is merely a parasitic plant, ready to drain your lifeblood, sap your energy, and leave you withered, all under the guise of a convenient love? Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, would tell us that you are making the fundamental mistake of non-Stoics. He, who governed a vast empire and faced legions of real problems, from wars to famine, knew that inner peace comes from focusing on what is within your control, not the uncontrollable. Can you control her past? The choices she made before meeting you that led to her single motherhood? Her current financial situation, whether due to poor planning or misfortune? The traumas of a previous relationship that left her wounded and which are often projected onto you? Her child who already exists and has their own needs and a family dynamic that doesn't genetically include you? No, my friend, all of this is beyond your domain. Trying to mold the uncontrollable is a recipe for frustration and exhaustion. But what can you control? Your response to this situation, where you invest your time, your energy, and your resources. The standards you accept in your life for what you tolerate, you permit to persist. The boundaries you establish, delineating where you end and she begins. And crucially, the decision to stay or to walk away. Marcus Aurelius urged us to confine ourselves to the present, to act in the here and now. Why then do you spend your precious mental energy trying to solve problems that are not yours, that existed long before you even appeared in her life? Every minute you dedicate to these concerns is a minute stolen from your own purpose, your own self-building, your own path to virtue. There is a phrase from Marcus Aurelius that deeply resonates here, a reminder of your sovereignty. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. It sounds harsh, but it reflects a profound truth about personal integrity. Often our goodness, our empathy, our inherent desire to help and protect can become a trap. When you fully assume the burden of a capable person, capable of working, growing, and being emotionally and financially self-sufficient, you are not being kind. You are, in fact, preventing her growth and, in the process, deeply harming yourself. You are keeping her in a state of dependency that prevents her from flourishing on her own. Constantly observe that all that exists is the result of change, and accustom yourself to consider that the nature of the universe loves nothing so much as to change the things that are. The hard truth: if she wasn't forced to adapt and grow on her own after her past experiences, if she always had someone to solve her problems, or if she actively seeks someone to do so, it's a red flag. By continuing this savior pattern, you become an accomplice in what keeps her dependent. Are you genuinely helping her become a better, more self-sufficient, more resilient person? Or are you just making it more comfortable for her to remain as she is, expecting you to take on everything, her past, present, and future, including that of the child who isn't yours? Think about it, my brother. Are you building a partner in virtue and reciprocity, or without realizing it, buying a dependent who masquerades as a companion? This is a crucial distinction that emotion often blinds us to. Life, undeniably, will hurl storms at you. This is an inescapable fact of human existence. But Marcus Aurelius, the rock that waves kept crashing against, knew the difference between natural storms and those unnecessarily created. He faced plagues, wars, and betrayals, yet maintained his calm. You should not be disturbed by thoughts about your whole life. Do not think mentally about what problems and to what extent you are likely to encounter, but when each arises, ask, what is there in this that is unbearable or beyond endurance? He invited us to analyze the real problem, to separate the wheat from the chaff. Natural life problems are illness, the loss of loved ones, global economic crises, professional challenges. These are the storms that fate throws our way, forging our character and making us stronger. But what about artificially created problems? The constant drama with her ex-partner, stretching for years and consuming your peace. Voluntary financial dependency, where she is capable of seeking her own livelihood but prefers the security of being supported. Emotional explosions for no apparent reason that turn your home into a daily battlefield. Emotional manipulation to get what she wants, making you feel guilty for having your own standards. Why would a man in his right mind willingly add these artificial problems, this manufactured chaos, to the natural and inevitable challenges of life? Do you confuse turbulence with passion, the storm with depth, or victimhood with vulnerability? Be careful not to get accustomed to chaos, thinking it is an essential part of love when in fact it is a sign of inner disorder. On this journey of life, my friend, you will hear voices. Marcus Aurelius, who governed an empire full of conflicting opinions and interests, from advisors to senators, warned us how troublesome it is to be influenced by the opinion of others when you should only be concerned with what you can do in the present moment. Society, with its relentless pressure for political correctness and universal compassion, often pushes us towards decisions that are not in our best interest, based on empty sentimentality or what is socially pleasing. People will say with a smile or a reprimand, "Give her a chance, she's a good mother despite everything. Every woman has baggage, you're no different, accept it. Be a real man and take responsibility for her child. He needs a father figure. No matter what. She just needs someone to believe in her, someone to rescue her." You will be labeled insensitive if you even question it. But here's the stark truth, my brother. These opinions come from people who will not deal with the direct consequences of your decisions. They will not feel the burden of the monthly bill, nor the daily exhaustion of your soul, nor the dilution of your life's purpose. They will merely judge your nobility or your cowardice from the comfort of their own lives. Marcus Aurelius would remind you that you should not live your life based on what others deem correct, especially when they do not pay the price for your choices. Why would you sacrifice your peace, your purpose, your freedom, and even your future to satisfy the social expectations of others who will not bear the cost? Is external approval worth your silent self-destruction? Time, my friend, is your most valuable resource, more precious than gold or any fortune. Marcus Aurelius, obsessed with the brevity of life, constantly reminded himself that every lost day never returns. He lived with the awareness of death, memento mori, to value every moment. It is a shame to be weary in the investigation when what we have to investigate is excellent. What is excellent? Your life, your purpose, your virtue. Consider the brutal math of existence. You have approximately 30,000 days of life if you're fortunate. A blink of an eye in the vast ocean of time. Every day, every hour, every minute invested in unnecessary drama is an irreplaceable piece of your time, a piece of your unique life that slips away. Every night you sleep worrying about problems that are not yours, that do not elevate you, is a night of lost rest, a night of restless sleep that affects your health and mental clarity. Every weekend spent managing the emotional crises of others, or being the bank for someone else's financial problems, is time that could be spent building your future, your legacy, your own peace and stability. On your deathbed, will you regret having been selective with whom you invested your time, having protected your energy for what truly matters? Or will you regret having wasted years of your life dealing with problems that were not yours, neglecting your own purpose, your own dreams, your own self-building? Are you building something of lasting value with your time? Or are you merely spending it putting out others' fires in a war that isn't yours, with no hope of victory? The obstacle is the way. This is one of the most beautiful and paradoxically most misinterpreted Stoic phrases. Marcus Aurelius did not tell you to seek out unnecessary problems, to throw yourself into trouble for false heroism. He told you to embrace the inevitable obstacles of life and transform them into opportunities for growth, for self-improvement. Our action may be impeded, but there can be no impeding our intentions or dispositions, because we can accommodate and adapt. The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes the obstacle to our action. The distinction is crucial. Inevitable obstacles are those that life naturally presents to us. An unexpected illness, a tragic loss, a global economic crisis that affects us. These are challenges that forge us, test our resilience, and make us stronger and wiser. But what about chosen obstacles? Those you willingly accept from others, often out of fear of loneliness, out of a romanticized idea of saving someone, or out of a confusion between compassion and codependency. If you choose a relationship where you need to be the sole financial provider, the constant emotional therapist for traumas that aren't yours, and the mediator of conflicts with her ex-partners or the child's father, you are not growing through obstacles. You are creating unnecessary obstacles that prevent you from focusing on your own challenges and virtues, that divert you from your purpose. Are you climbing your own mountain towards your destiny, or are you carrying someone else's heavy baggage uphill, sacrificing your own ascent? Is the pain you feel due to growth or to unnecessary weight? The quality of your life, my brother, is not defined by external circumstances, but by the questions you ask yourself. Marcus Aurelius invites us to a brutally honest audit of our present, without embellishments or self-deception. Does this person contribute to your virtue or detract from it? Stoic virtue includes prudence, practical wisdom, courage, doing what is right even with fear, justice, treating others with fairness and yourself with dignity, and temperance, self-control, moderation. A relationship that drains your resources without reciprocity, that demands you abandon your truth or principles, that drags you into mediocrity or chaos, is not virtuous. Are you, by engaging in this dynamic, being fair to yourself, to your potential, and to your soul? Are you elevating yourself or lowering yourself to fit into her life? Are you acting out of genuine compassion or out of wounded ego? Sometimes, the desire to help is more about feeling important, being the savior who rescued her, than about true compassion and mature love. True, Stoic compassion sometimes means loving someone enough to let them face the consequences of their own choices so they can grow, so they can become self-sufficient. Are you saving her out of true, constructive love, or so that she finds you indispensable and fills a void within you? If you were advising a friend in this situation, what advice would you give? Emotional distance, the ability to view yourself as an external observer, reveals truths that closeness and blind passion obscure. Would you advise a friend, someone you genuinely care about and wish the best for, to enter or remain in this situation, with all its complexities and potential pitfalls? Why are you not applying the same standard of care and prudence to yourself, to your own life, and to your own future? What kind of man are you becoming through this choice? Your choices, however small they may seem, shape your character. Are you becoming stronger, wiser, more disciplined, more resilient, more confident? Or are you becoming more codependent, exhausted, embittered, resentful, and losing your masculine essence? Are you building yourself up, improving your virtues, or are you deconstructing and diluting yourself to fit into her life, sacrificing your identity and your purpose? Is this decision based on fear or on wisdom? The fear of loneliness, the fear of not finding anyone else, the fear of being judged, can masquerade as love or commitment. Wisdom, on the other hand, sometimes requires solitary decisions which can be painful in the short term, but which preserve your integrity, your purpose, and your peace in the long term. Are you running to her to fill a void, or are you running away from yourself and the responsibility of building your own fulfilling life? In the morning, when you are reluctant to rise, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being. Why then am I vexed if I am going to do what I was born to do, the work for which I was brought into the world? Marcus Aurelius would tell you that you were born to build a virtuous life, to create value in the world, to live in accordance with your rational nature, and to form relationships that elevate both parties, that are fertile ground for mutual growth. If a relationship impedes this, if it constantly drains you, if it drags you into someone else's chaos, if it diverts you from your path, then it is not a relationship. It is a toxic distraction from your life's mission. It is a dangerous detour that could cost you your soul. There is no neutral relationship. Every relationship either elevates you or diminishes you. It either energizes you or exhausts you. It either inspires you to be better or settles you into mediocrity, into constant drama. Your life, Your time, your energy, your inner peace are finite, sacred resources. Marcus Aurelius, as emperor, knew that ill-invested resources meant fewer resources to invest where it truly mattered. In his empire, in his people, in his own virtue. For you, it is in your life, your purpose, your family, your legacy. The question, my brother, is not whether you have the right to be selective, it is whether you have the right not to be. Selectivity is an act of self-knowledge, self-care, and responsibility. Marcus Aurelius would remind you that you choose what role you play in life. You can choose to be the sacrificing savior, the limitless provider who devotes his life to someone else's cause, the unpaid therapist who listens to endless dramas, the substitute father to a child who is not his, without a real commitment based on values and reciprocity, but merely on convenience or pity. Or you can choose to be the man who builds a life based on reciprocity, virtue, purpose, and mutual growth. The man who honors his purpose, who protects his time and energy as invaluable treasures, who seeks a partner who contributes, who inspires him to be better, who brings peace and stability to his world, and not more chaos or unnecessary burdens. A partner who is truly a companion on his journey, not a dead weight. The choice is yours, and yours alone. But remember, every choice has consequences, and you, and only you, will live with them. What role are you willing to play in your one and finite life? The role of a man with purpose and peace, or that of an eternal firefighter for others' problems? If this message resonated with you, like it, share it, and subscribe to join our growing community of strength and wisdom.